Om Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Gurupyo Namah Siddhi Vinayaka Namah Hari Om. This is Tarve Subramaniam. You have all been listening to various talks of mine on logistics, supply chain management, examples of logistics, and also on Anmigam, mythology, etc. etc. Today, once again, I am taking logistics as the base and giving an example of what one of the arms of logistics, which is very important. This I call as innovation. Innovation in Tamil means you can say kandupidithal or pudumayakkuvathu, something like that. Why this is being talked about? Let us talk and take examples from India before we go abroad. Now, the logistics that is being applied in a village will not be the same which is in a township. The logistics which is applied in the township cannot be there in a district headquarters. And what is there in the district headquarters cannot be in an A-class city. When you take even the 5 metros of India, the logistics applied in each of these cities are different. Why so? Because logistics is a single thing. If it is applicable in Bombay, it has to be applied in Calcutta, it has to be applied in Delhi, it has to be applied in Chennai, or in Bangalore, wherever we go, it has to be applied. Now, let us try to take some examples and see how it works. The first I said was a village. The life in the village is totally different to life in a town, a district headquarters, or in a A-class city. People here tend to get up very early in the morning and they have to go to their agricultural fields for doing the day-to-day work, or even going to the nearby township for some of the work that they are involved in. But how does it work out? There is no cab, there is no bus in front of their house, there is no auto in front of their house. Which means the moment they get up in the morning, they get ready and they walk the distance from their house to the agricultural field, cutting through various other fields in between, carrying with them the necessary equipment and also the oxes. If it is tractor run, the tractor is already parked there, so he has to go and start the tractor to run the show for the day. He either carries the food in his hand, but since it is too early in the morning, somebody delivers the food to him late in the afternoon, which he eats under a shade of a tree and then tries to get a sleep to get back his energy to restart the work, and then again retract his journey back home in the evening. Whereas if you go into a nearby township, it is totally changed in the sense that when he gets up and he is getting ready, 2 things is available for him. He may have a bike or a cycle to go into his office or bank or wherever he is working to do his daily work, and he is able to return back. When you go into a district headquarters, it is even more simpler that apart from the 2-wheelers, or he may have the facility of a 3-wheeler auto, and he may even have a 4-wheeler car. So his application is exactly different to what is happening in a township or in a village. Then if you come into A-class city, he has got multiple options. He has got a 2-wheeler, he has got a 3-wheeler, he has got a transport bus, he has got a cab which he can call readily, or he may have his own car, etc., and he commutes. Now, if you see the logistics here, the time consumed in traveling in a A-class city is much longer than in a district headquarters, and then it is much shorter in the township, and it is much shorter in the village. If you compare the time taken by all of them, the person who is working in the village perhaps utilizes the maximum time on the field for his work. Whereas when compared to the district headquarters and in the A-class city, time is lost because of commuting. Therefore, people here have to apply a different way of logistics, which means that if the office is opening at 10 o'clock, then they have to rush up at 7:30, 8 o'clock to beat the traffic and be in the office by 10 in the morning. And similarly in the evening, if they have to beat the traffic and come home, they have to stay put in the office till the peak hours are over and then come back. This applies into every field. Now take for example, people say that in Germany there's an autobahn where people can drive at 250 kilometers per hour. Do you think this is possible in a country like India? Here, to even get an average speed of 60 kilometers on the highway is, I would say in Tamil, Brahma Prayatana. Even though your car may travel at 120 at one point, but if you take the average distance speed, it will be not more than 60 to 65 kilometers. Which means if somebody is traveling from an X point to an Y point, say around 1000 kilometers, how many hours he would have taken is close to 14 to 15 hours of his driving time. Why is it so? Because we cannot apply Germany's logistics here. Same thing applies. The logistics US cannot be applied in India, or logistics of US cannot be applied in Germany. Every place, everywhere, the logistics has to be dependent upon the local conditions, the local weather conditions, etc. Otherwise, one who is trying to imitate the German style or the Rotterdam style or the American style or the British style in a place where he is staying, it will fail. A small example I'm going to give you here out of my own life experience, that when I was the director of the first private berth in India, which was in Kandla, the owners wanted to bring in conveyor belts for loading cargo. Now, being the local person, I told them, I am your eye, I am your ear, I am your mouth. To me, this is not feasible. But the owners were adamant, saying that I did not know my job. So they put in about 4 or 5 foreigners along with their Indian staff to explore the possibilities. And they all gave a very rosy picture that this conveyance will be an excellent success in Kandla, and the loading rates or the discharging rates and the output will be increasing tremendously. I had no say on to this until the equipments arrived. People from his company came here. They assembled the whole thing. And one day in the evening around 7:30, along with the chairman, the traffic manager, etc., we were present there to see the function of this conveyor. The vessel was an empty vessel. It was right up to the top. So they had to adjust the conveyor to that height and start the loading. But unfortunately, not even a drop of that cargo went into the ship's holds. Then they waited for another 4 hours, and suddenly they found the ship was gone below the berth level, and they were unable to accept or adjust the conveyor to that level. So finally, after a gruesome of 7 hours, they said, "We are packing. I think this will not work here." The chairman, of course, within an hour, he knew that it is not going to work. The traffic manager, all of them left. Finally, we all packed and went back. Next morning, I was asked why it failed. My simple reply was, "You refuse to believe the eye, ear, and mouth of this place, and you believed in people who talked sitting in their chair." I said, "Gentlemen, please understand, Kandla is a seaport with no lock gates. It's open to sea. Therefore, the tide falls drastically in high tide and low tide. In high tide, the vessel goes considerably up, and in low tide, the vessel goes down. And roughly, it is estimated that the tide difference is close to 3 to 4 meters between the high tide and the low tide." Finally, these machines were sold as scrap by the port of Kandla much later, and the initial expenses for buying, transporting, and bringing it to Kandla was, in those days, I'm talking 1994, was 3 crores of rupees. So, gentlemen, never think that you can imitate logistics of one place to the other place. Please adjust yourself to geographical conditions of that area and do it. Thank you very much for listening to this short talk. If you like it, please share and subscribe so that it becomes helpful to everybody. Thank you. Have a good day.